Today is the final day of the 5-day series of talks on the circular bioeconomy. And I welcome everybody back to today's session. A quick round of what we have on offer today, and then we'll jump in. We have three speakers today talking about uh, the alternative materials that have been created from what some people may call waste, but for them, this is really inputs to their products. In the first 4 days, we looked at a variety of different issues or different aspects of circularity, different aspects of bioeconomies, different aspects of what it is that we need to do and who is doing what. Starting from the very first day about getting to understand circularity, understanding bioeconomy, then looking at some of the products that have been developed for addressing urban waste, uh, from composting solutions for large housing societies to biogas generation. Then on the next day, we went into looking at what's going on at the civic level, at town level, city levels, and what is being done to try and address the aspect of waste that generates on its. In one case, in the Ganesh festival in Maharashtra, and in the which happens just once in a year, and then in Rajgurunagar, which is a small town not far from Pune, where a daily waste processing is happening. So how can you do daily waste processing for a small town, and then massive waste that gets generated once in a year in a very large major religious celebration in Maharashtra. We looked at that. Then yesterday we looked at some other things in terms of three very different topics. A rural entrepreneur trying to create solutions for the people that live in the rural areas. What does it take to build a low cost equipment to develop biochar? How did he go about doing that? Then we looked at another aspect of circularity, where about the circular rural economy itself, and trying to understand that perspective. And then the third speaker took us to another level to understand the broader sense of what is happening in the global south and what needs to happen in the global south. And then the second part was also the interesting lab that has been started in Goa to help biomaterials development in biomaterials and innovation in that space. So this is what we had until yesterday. Today we have, like I said, three people who have representing three companies, two of whom are founders, who have actually taken waste and converted into wealth. So we have, to begin with, we will have Pushpalakshmi from Madurai. She's going to be talking about some of the regenerative materials she has created as alternative to bioplastics and so on. Second, we have Shashank Nimkar, who's worked with clay or rather with recycled ceramic and created products out of that. And the third one is a company called Pakka from Ayodhya. They have several different products which are used for food packaging, for tableware, and so on. Interestingly, Pakka is actually one of the global suppliers of such regenerative materials. So we'll get a sense of how does one scale up and how do you reach out and how do you sell to large customers and large international customers also, where regulations are probably sometimes tighter than what we have in the global south. But before we launch and before I ask Pushpa to start, I want to do one thing differently today. For all the 4 days, I have been talking and I have been telling you about Stars Forum and the speakers and everyone. But I want to invite today Dr. Yogesh Kulkarni, who is the founding chairman of Stars Forum. For the first 10 years of Stars, he actually provided the leadership. He set up the foundation for Stars Forum, its mission, and so on. So I thought it is important that all of our participants also get to meet some of the other people who have actually been so influential and so have played such an important role in setting up of Stars Forum. So over to you, Dr. Yogesh Kulkarni. Please, the stage is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Chaitanya. Uh, like this is like almost 15 years of Star Forum. Like we started in 2010. It was informally we started. I remember Dr. Prabhu came and I was there, and in Maratha Chamber of Commerce, we started with the 28 people gathered in a small room, and the Star Forum was started. And today, when I look at the progress of the Stars Forum, you are working in different state. In like in Jharkhand, you have a program in Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya. In West Bengal, Star Forum is working in the Murshidabad district, which was famous basically in the newspaper on the 6th of December for wrong reasons. But in Murshidabad, almost with 100 school, the Star Forum is working. So, and it is possible because of the different partners we got connected with the Stars Forum. Now, on the 18th of December in Lucknow, if you remember, there was a Stars Forum conference in Lucknow. And on this 18th of December, there we are going to organize Vigyan Ashram is going to organize an event with the Rural Livelihood Mission. And some of our the participants in that conference, Stars Forum conference in Lucknow, they will be there. So the Star Forum help us to connect in various way. So, and the way you basically provided the leadership in last few years, so all kudos to you, Chaitanya and Bhakti, like and all the other trustees who are giving like their time and energy in taking this mission forward. So, congratulations to you for this. Uh, Only one thing I says, I still miss the physical gathering, the meeting together. I know that December is very the crowded month, and we always face this difficulty. But I'm sure you will plan to have this physical gathering and the conference maybe in April or May or somewhere when there is a lean season and it's not crowded with the events. So I'm looking forward for such events. So thank you very much.
And thankfully, actually, maybe it's a blessing in disguise, because this is exactly where the indigo crisis would have meant ki we have no very few people would have been able to travel to Pune, and so in a way it is
Yeah, you
it
are a
is
visionary.
Anyway, thank you so much, Yogesh ji, for your kind words, and I'm sure we will continue to benefit from your guidance. And there are so many others who are founding members. Dr. Sudhir Prabhu from the United States, he has joined. Dr. Shama Maitre, who's from Chinmay Organization for Rural Development, she's joined in from Delhi, and other trustees from Pune and Himachal Pradesh and so on. So thank you all for the support. So let's dive in with start today's session. Our first speaker for today is Pushpalakshmi. Again, this is, I got to connect with Pushpalakshmi literally just 10 days ago, I think. I was looking for, until, continuously looking for who are doing some great work and what is being done in this space. And then I stumbled across Pushpa's work in the regenerative materials work, and then reached out. She was very kind enough to pick up my call and talk to me, and agreed to share the journey of her company Ecokadai, and talk to us about what she's been doing. She's probably one of the few patent holders of patents in this space. I don't know how many people have been able to achieve that, but it's a good sign. It's a good sign of, from a science point of view as well, that there is some progress happening. So over to you, Pushpa. Please take us through your journey of building your products, ecosystem, and everything that you're working on.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Pushpalakshmi, founder of Ecokadai. before starting this particular topic, I like to share my journey. So after doing my IT in UG, I thought I should do something related to environment. I am an environmental enthusiastic, but at the early stage, I couldn't join a UG course related to environment. I did my IT and I worked on search engine optimization as a part-time thing. And I searched where to join environmental science in post graduation, but I couldn't join a postgraduate course in environmental science. But fortunately, I got an opportunity to join industrial safety engineering, where environmental safety is a part of it. So I, after finishing my post graduation in industrial safety engineering, I started to work in a company. It's a textile based company doing baby carrier bags. So in that company, I learned few things related to workplace safety, as well as how to manage the employees, how to train the employees, because I mostly interact with women employees in my first company. So they are from rural area. So in simple words, we have to convey the workplace safety issues as well as solution. So after that, I got an opportunity. It's a wide opportunity. I got an opportunity to work as a consultant and trainer for various industries around Chennai and Pondicherry. Mostly, I spent around 3.5 years in training, consulting, and doing risk assessment in more than hundreds of companies in that time. So it gave me many practical insights. What are the practical issues in a workplace which leads to accidents, how to control it, what are the practical environmental issues inside a workplace, and how it will affect the mental health. So everything, I gained many insights while working for many companies. Like I worked for a Nokia company, I worked for Slider Electric, I worked for Ford. Every big giants I have worked for giving training sessions as well as technical sessions. Mostly I cover this chemical safety, electrical safety. Especially I worked on implementing this lockout tagout system, which is one of the main thing in electrical safety system. So we take both in-house as well as external training also. So it gave me many various opportunity to interact with many employees and understand their thing on safety issues. So it is like a wide thing. And after that, I got another wonderful opportunity to work inside a company called Lotus Footwear. It's a Fengte Group, Taiwan-based company, who are working on Nike sports shoe manufacturing. It gave me a wonderful opportunity on implementing the environmental safety issues as well as workplace safety issues inside company. We worked on building a green belt around the factories and using the wastewater as a resource. Like we treat the wastewater coming out of the toilet, and we treat that water and we use that water for trees surrounding green belt and various thing. We worked on caissons like energy caissons, waste caissons, water caissons. We work on various caissons, as well as we do real time implementation to improve both workplace safety as well as environmental safety. So it gave me a wonderful opportunity, learning opportunity. Like we crossed around 13 years. I am in this field for more than 13 years. And in yearly entrepreneurship journey, I don't have a thought to do research. Actually, I just started. I like to explore what are the things I can take and I can trade a meaningful product. Yearly, as I worked near Kanjipuram, I got opportunity to trade this silk saris. It is also a wonderful eco-friendly product. So I started trading silk saris, and after that, I thought I should do something which is related to my passion in environment. So I started to work on this agro-waste. While thinking on that angle, I regularly read many journals related to this microplastic contamination, this plastic issues. I thought we should work on a particular niche on this waste to wealth. So I started to trade this eco-friendly product, especially tableware products. So whenever I go to market, I take that product. I work on this greenwashing, especially if somebody claims it is biodegradable. Immediately I will test in the garden whether it is breaking down or not. I will take the product and I will test in my own garden whether it is breaking down or not, how it is reacting with the soil. Like that, I will keep on testing. I don't believe the alternative products related to the plastic. So I thought something weird is happening to build a alternative to plastics. So I brought products and I will test. I'm not satisfied with the existing solution, because in India bioplastic is emerging field. It's a good alternative to traditional plastic, but it's not a best alternative. So I thought to trade this edible cups, edible spoons, and I got some insights from that product also. So I thought certainly I got an opportunity to work on this rice bran and rice husk.
Pushpa ji,
Yeah,
Pushpa ji, if your slides are moving,
yeah, it's moving. So
okay,
after
yeah,
that, I
okay.
started to work on this particular rice bran cups, rice husk plates, and I saw something weird on this particular rice bran plates also. It's something different. It's not a exact solution which our uh, infrastructure meets, because uh, the rice bran, when we trade rice bran cups, it creates some smells and it's getting damage in transport, and it has some leakage issues. The people drinking tea in a rice bran cups don't like the smell. So while trading those products, existing products are open source thing. Rice bran and rices cups plates is open source, and somewhat it's natural only, but it's not sufficient and mechanically durable to the market needs. So we got many insights from real time customers. So after that, we tried many types of agro waste, like we touched lemongrass, we touched wheat grass, we touched wheat waste. Even we worked on various agro waste, nearly 70 types of agro waste we have explored to make a perfect solution to meet the market demand of home compostable products, because in India we need a home compostable product. So we worked on that, and certainly it became a research automatically, and we filed a patent. So this is about my journey. So it's a long journey actually. And when I speak about circular economy, it's closely related to my journey also. So circular economy is about reducing waste, and circular bioeconomy is about replacing the fossil fuel inputs with renewable sources. So integration of circular economy and bioeconomy is very very important. And I learned many things from nature. It's called biomimicry thing. Technically it's called biomimicry, getting inspired by nature and developing a solution for an existing problem. Like in my thought process, one of the best example of biomimicry in packaging is banana tree ecosystem. It is one of the best thing we can learn from the nature about packaging. Nothing is waste in a banana tree ecosystem. Everything is useful, from root, shoot, pseudostem, leaf. Everything is useful in that particular thing. So traditionally we use banana leaves, and it's good for health also. So inspired by that banana tree ecosystem, I like to develop a ecosystem for home compostable product, not a single product. We try to develop an ecosystem of home compostable product. So we are generating millions of agro waste. We know that fact. It's going to landfill and creating methane emissions. So we have to work on that particular thing. So soil health is very very important. We know a single teaspoon of soil contains many microorganisms than people on the earth, but fertile soil only contain many microorganisms. If the soil is not fertile, if it is contains microplastics and other toxins, it automatically, the microbe counts also will get decrease automatically. It affects the crop yield also. So we all know that. So the packaging should not be a uh, uh, should not create any impact to the soil. Whatever we developed as a packaging solution, it should go back to the earth, and it should improve the soil organic matter and it should create a wonderful journey. End of life of the product is very very important. If end of life of a product is good, then the packaging will end of life will be a value to the soil. So it's very very important. So we are working on that biological cycle. It's called biological cycle. So we are developing a product, and the end of life it goes back to the soil and converting as a compost, means it's a biological cycle. So we work on this biological cycle initially. Earlier days, I sell this edible straws, especially the edible straws. They say it's edible. You can eat after drinking cool drinks like that. Say, but I test, but it does not contain any taste. People usually do not like that particular straws to eat. Also, ultimately, it is thrown to the dustbin only. So, using the edible straws only, I have started my first home composting trial. I took all those used edible straws, and I have mixed with the kitchen waste. I observed the home compost bin process, how it is getting composted, whether it is getting breakdown or not. It creates lot of smell also. While the edible straws is getting decomposed, it creates smell. It attracts earthworms also. Ultimately, it creates more smell. So it's not easy to compost at a backyard. So from that only I started to make this compost of whatever product I get from that market, and I have made many trials also. So while making a compost of this rice bran cups which I sold earlier, means the rice bran will get compost, but what is thing, it is not a complete compost, it is a carbon additive. When it gets mixed along with the kitchen waste, it makes only a carbon additive, it's not a complete compost. So from that I have learned we need a complete solution of a compost from the end of life of a product. So this is what we are working on. That we all know fossil fuel is not good for a long term journey. Say no to single use plastic. We are regularly speaking about that, but we have to think on one thing: why we cannot reduce plastic? Because plastic is not only a product, it's a power market. A product, power market means it creates a ecosystem around that particular product, which generates lot of jobs, lot of income. Especially this pet recycling, it's a 1,000 crores, 10,000 crores ecosystem, creating lot of income, it's creating lot of jobs. So it is not easy to overcome this plastic pollution, because it's not a simple product, it's a power market product. So to compete with the power market product, we need to create an alternative power market using our multi agro waste biocomposite. So this is my thought process while thinking of elimination of plastics. We all know plastics break down due to wear and tear, UV rays. It creates microplastics, and the microplastic is in the soil, and the plant uptakes those microplastic and generate food grains. And once again, it comes to our plate also. So it create lot of issues as well. So this is our problem. So it creates this microplastic is creating a lot of issues, and it enters our bloodstream, and it enters our human placenta. Whatever plastic we are using nowadays, it's going to affect next 4 generations. All the research are saying it's going to affect next 4 generations. So we need an alternative power market like plastics to create jobs and to create a good health and good environment. So plastic ultimately, even though it break down, it accumulated in the soil, and it will affect our food chain, and it affect the organisms. For example, if a fresh water is containing insect larvae, means if the fresh water is having many microplastic contamination, if it is heavy microplastic loaded, means this larvae hatches and the insects comes out, and the insects will be once again the carriers of microplastic. So everything will become a carriers of microplastics. So a lot of research is done on this particular thing. So the problem with bioplastic is a good alternative to traditional plastic, but it does not solve the problem of Indian infrastructure, because bioplastic is the invention of European countries, and they have this industrial composting facilities and it's widely available. They will take back the end product, and they will convert those end product into a compost. Such kind of industrial composting facilities is not available in India. It's rarely accessible. So lot of greenwashing claims also. Bioplastic is a suitable thing, they are claiming that, but it's not an exact solution. And we have to need a exact India needs a home compostable ecosystem. That is my point, because we don't have industrial composting facilities. It's not widely available and it's rarely accessible. And this PLA based bioplastic, when it goes to the plastic traditional plastic recycling streams, it will contaminate the PET recycling streams also. So it is not a suitable solution for our country. So that's what the research also saying. PLA widely available and used bioplastic in India, but PLA is biodegradable and compostable only in industrial composting facilities as per EN 13432. And PHA is a better alternative than PLA, but it's not home compostable in Indian dry condition. PBS, it is also not biodegradable. It will persist in soil. So our invention is a multi-agro-waste composite without polymers, and it home compostable along with kitchen waste in ambient conditions. And when it become a compost, it enrich the soil. At the same time, the end product can be used as a feedstock for biochar units also. So this is our innovations. We mostly use coffee and coconut waste to make a biocomposite along with other agro waste without synthetic polymers, using mechanical compression molding. End of the product, it will either it enters a biological cycle along with kitchen waste. It can become a manure, or it can be taken back and repurposed as a briquette for industrial heating application or a feedstock for biochar. We gained a granted patent in India, and it have a growing interest from Europe for licensing also. So, so built a ecosystem around this. We are working on this particular licensing also. To build a ecosystem, we need many manufacturing partners to work on this particular product. And once they started to work on the product, we will be focusing on take back systems also. We'll be taking back, and we will divert to the composting micro composting facilities which process kitchen waste, or we can sell as a feedstock for this biochar unit. So whatever product we develop in future, we should focus on regenerative material, and it should create a power market economy like traditional plastic. Then only it create more income to the people working on it and create more job opportunities also. So we are working on that. Yeah, we expect collaboration to do more in this take back scheme in future. To enter into the technical take back, we need more support, and we need to work on reverse logistics. We need to work tie up with more biochar unit who is interested to take it as a feedstock. So we are keep on working to move towards this circular regenerative economy.
Yeah, thank you, Pushpa. That was quite interesting. A couple of questions, and I hope there'll be questions coming in as well from others. In the so you said that your alternative that you have created um, uses coffee and coconut waste. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what was what went behind identifying these two, and what was special about this combination, and were there other things that you tried and attempted and discarded, maybe temporarily or whatever, but how did you come up with this combination? And secondly, coffee by itself also has some flavor, aroma that may be that may still continue, or does it continue in the product that you have created?
So
Because I think from what I know, you from the website, I know that the two main products that you have created, one are cups and the other one is plates. Am I right?
yeah, this is our cup
Okay,
prototype.
okay, okay. Wonderful. So could you tell us a little bit about your about the material selection that you did?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, in coffee ecosystem, 80% is a waste. When you are drinking a cup of coffee, 80% is a waste to make a cup of coffee. Actually, the coffee skin is a waste, coffee pulp is a waste, spent coffee ground is a waste, and this coffee husk is a waste. So to drink a wonderful coffee, we need to make a waste of 80 percentage. So India is one of the largest producer of coffee, especially we are the seventh largest coffee producers. And especially this coffee has a high nitrogen content and it accelerate home composting without smell, especially this, especially we tried spent coffee ground, and coffee has, especially the spent coffee ground creates a smell while composting, good smell it creates. It does not create an odor, it accelerates the home composting process. And we test the input also, whatever waste we get from spent coffee ground or coffee husk, we test the particular waste, then only we use it for making cups. Since it is a food packaging product, we test all those inputs. And coconut, especially we use coconut shells coir. Coconut shell, we are one of the largest producer of coconut. India is one of the largest producer of coconut. We export many value addition product from coconut also. So coconut shell, it's a good thing, but coconut shell alone cannot make a product, because at a powdery form it will be more brittle. So when we experiment coconut shell, we think coconut shell can make a beautiful handcraft product, but when become a powdery form, it will become more brittle. So
Mm.
this is the main challenge we thought while making a compost, and we tried lemongrass, we tried wheat bran, wheat straws, and we tried seaweed, and all those fruit waste like orange peel, lemon peel, and this grass waste, all types of grass waste. And we used floral waste also to make the seedling pots. We tried floral waste also. So we tried plenty of waste, whatever in the surrounding we are getting. And when making many trials, we get a perfect formulation while trying majorly this coffee and coconut waste. It's like a unexpected synergy.
Hmm.
So it's an unexpected synergy of this two waste. One is nitrogen
Hmm.
rich, another one is carbon rich, and together they make a mechanically durable product, and it's home composable along with the kitchen waste also. You can see that image of our home composting trials I have shown
Hmm.
here. So this is that when mixed along with kitchen waste, this is a trial which is completed within 42 days. The end
Hmm.
compost is a 42-day trial. And when mixed along with the kitchen waste also, it create a good order while composting. First the coir came out while breaking down, and after that everything break down and become a compost. You can see sprouts coming from that soil,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
shows
Hmm.
it's biologically active.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So today, how much are these products in the market? How much have you uh, been able to produce since you got this technology right? I
Market,
think you're
it's
on
a,
mute now. Oh, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's a growing market. We are getting plenty of licensing requests for making cosmetic containers, for making toys, for making packaging items. So we are getting many interest. It's a niche market, especially. So we are getting requests. I'm filtering those requests who are in my wavelength.
Star
It's
for
not only about making profit. It's about people, planet. Then only profit is just a byproduct of whatever we are doing. So
Mm.
our intention is good. We need to create a perfect ecosystem equivalent to a pet recycling, because to compete with the traditional plastic we need to create a ecosystem which should be power market fit. So it should create job opportunities also, not only by producing product. We work on end of life of the product, like biological thing as well as technical
Hmm.
side. So Europeans like this concept. Recently, I posted we are going into the circularity assessment of climate KAC and TechnoServe, especially for our circular business model concept. So we will get that report on February month, and I will definitely publish it. So people will know the value of that particular ecosystem we are trying to build, and we are going to go another validation through JPAL South Asia for the environmental assessment of this particular production and end of life activities. So continuously we will be going to external validation, and we are aiming for TUV home composite certification also. It is the only certification for home compostable products. So
Hmm.
we are working on standardization, testing, certification, everything we are working. Until now, we have done some SIPET test along with our real-time validation. So it's a long progress. It's a deep tech startup, especially. It will take some
Correct, correct. Actually, I think you're right. This is maybe a deep tech startup classified as a circular bioeconomy startup.
time. Yeah,
You're
yeah.
really, actually, yeah, absolutely right. I mean, I think I'm very glad you brought that out. I mean, it's not very. Sometimes it's not that apparent that some of this work actually can be quite deep tech kind of aspects in this. There are a couple of people who have some questions. Dr. Prabhu, do you want to take your question,
Yeah, yeah.
please?
I just wanted to ask, thank you for this presentation. But I think the question is regarding industrial biocomposting facilities. Looks like India does not have it. What are the challenges? Is it because it is not financially sustainable or profitable for any willing investor or an entrepreneur? Or are there any other reasons? And any particular reason the government does not invest in these facilities, which is the need of the hour, because the plastics are growing by leaps and bounds, health-wise, environment, so on. So if we do retail, small scale, individual, it is going to take a long time. It's a good solution, but the scale of the problem is so huge that we need earlier solutions where investment from the government and policy would be needed. So if you could just touch on that, that would be helpful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, industrial composting is widely available in Europe because their population is less, and we are emerging superpower. Our population is growing like anything. So even Europe, they face challenges in this industrial composting, especially the quality of the compost is not so good while converting into compost. And once again, it's a labor intensive and energy intensive process. All this industrial composting, it needs 58 degrees Celsius, and it needs thermophilic microbes, and it needs high humidity. We have to maintain the temperature along with this microbes, thermophilic microbes and humidity. And it's energy intensive and time consuming also. It takes around more than 180 days to become a compost. But even in some existing industrial composting facilities, they will not keep this for more than 3 months. Within 3 months, they will empty and go back to another feedstock. They will not keep for a so long time because the input is high. So, and the processing unit is low. They cannot make a complete compost. This is the issue in developed countries. As we are developing and a superpower, we are especially on this pet recycling system because it create more jobs. But when we go for this bioplastic end of life and making an industrial composting facility, especially for bioplastic and converting into a compost, it is not economically viable. We have to spend a lot of time and lot of energy, lot of labor for this, and the output will not, is uncertain. Definitely it will not create a compost according to the standards. So that is the issue we are facing, especially in Tamil Nadu. For the whole Tamil Nadu, we have only one industrial composting facilities. It is available only in Chennai. But whatever bioplastic we are using in Madurai, it will not reach Chennai because no one is working on that also. So even though they work on that, it's not going to be a profitable thing. But when we work on this home compostable product, there is some advantages. We nowadays we have many micro composting yard to convert kitchen waste into a compost. So once this product like Ecokadai product going to a home composting, micro composting yard which is processing kitchen waste means we doesn't need any special infrastructure. Existing infrastructure we are using, which are converting kitchen waste to a manure, and Ecokadai going product is going to be mixed along with the kitchen waste to make a compost. So we are using the existing infrastructure. We are not demanding a new infrastructure for this products. So we have to go with the existing infrastructure to make a compost. That is the one thing. And we are having an emerging economy with biochar production also. Many biochar unit is coming up, and it's economically viable and create many job opportunities and create more income. When we sell our end of life product as a biochar feedstock, definitely it will be cost effective also. The input will be cost effective, and the profit will be more for the unit using it as a feedstock. So the solution should be scalable with the existing infrastructure and economically viable, and it should create profit to the people working on it. So this is the thing.
I think this is actually reminds me of, if many of us who live in the North India or have been there, we will see many tea shops actually selling or giving tea in these clay cups, which are obviously single use but doesn't require anything else. They're naturally uh, going back into the soil, so to speak. And in it's if a state as advanced as Tamil Nadu, as educated, as prosperous as Tamil Nadu, can have only one recycling plant for bioplastics in the entire state, we can imagine what we there. I mean, I have not tried to see if there are how many in this country, but that seems to be quite a big challenge. So actually, this kind of solutions seem to be more appropriate. They will probably create alternate jobs, alternate job opportunities, and so on and so forth, while also addressing something that was discussed yesterday and day before, in terms of the soil health and the degrading soil, carbon, and so on. So I think this is good. I think we'll take one last question before we move to our second speaker. Shamadidi is asking, are these cups disposable and or reusable? And what is the cost of one cup? Can it replace foam cups that are being used for tea and coffee? I think the answer to that is a clear yes. And whether your cups are already in the market. So three questions: disposable or reused. I think like what you said, they're basically compostable. So in a sense, environmentally disposable. But what is the cost of a cup, and are these products already in the market?
Chaitanya, one more question. She was
Yes,
mentioning
Raghu.
about
Yes.
the edible cups. Is she producing edible cups from the local material? I would like to know about that also briefly.
Yeah. Dr. Raghu, that's a very good question. Pushpa, could you take these two questions, please?
Yeah, we are not working on edible cups. I traded edible cups actually. This biscuit cups I have traded. And the issue with edible cups is people will not like the taste. Everyone will not like a single taste. Even though we worked on elachi flavor, we worked on vanilla flavor, I traded all those edible cups. Everyone will not like a single taste. The taste will differ. Sometimes this edible cup will alter the taste of tea we are consuming. People will not like that. Whatever beverage, the beverage should not interact with the cup. So
Yeah.
we are working only on this home compostable cups made from this patented product. It's biodegradable as well as home compostable. And another thing, at this at this time, our product is not in the market. We are working on commercialization of our patent. We are working on mission upgradation. I got patent for material and process. So based on the process, we are upgrading our existing compression molding machine, and we are going for automation also. After doing pilot study, we are going to automation. So we are aiming for producing 60,000 cups per month initially after 4 months, and we are looking for government grants. Recently, we got one state government grant, and yet to receive. Until now, I am a bootstrap startup, and we are working on our own funds. And it's a costly thing when we work on this biodegradable home compostable. We have to spend a lot of money on testing and validation. So
Correct, correct.
yeah, we are ongoing. So this is our framework. I think you can see. This is a circular
So,
economy. We are working on our product. There are 10 R's in a circular economy. We are working on these things. Actually, our cup is repurposable. Once it is used as a beverage cup, the same cup can be used as a seedling cups also. We have tested that, and it's repurposable, and it can be repurposed as a briquette for a heating application like LN or other heating application. Every industry is looking for alternative fuel. So nowadays we use plastic for heating application. Apart from that, the same product in end of life, it can be repurposed as a briquettes also. So ultimately it's all the purpose in the nearby heating application, as well as when we upcycle to a biochar, if we reselling as a feedstock to a biochar unit, we get income on the both sides. So ultimately it creates an ecosystem who are working on this downcycling and upcycling and repurpose. It creates more job opportunities in a rural economy side. So these are the R's we are working on our particular product.
excellent, very good. I mean, I think from on behalf of all of us, we really hope and give your best wishes that this innovation actually hits the market, that you get the necessary financing to actually get into production, and then not just in 60,000 per month, per, did you say per month?
Yeah, we are aiming
Yeah,
for 1 lakh cups per month using a single
yeah,
machine.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I hope that soon you will hit 1 lakh per day, and with many more plants in this country, so that this kind of innovation reaches much broader, much wider parts of the country. So thank you so much, Pushpa, for joining us, for sharing us the innovation that you have worked on, and the ideas that you have uh, that have gone behind creating a product like this, that every part of the product seems to be taking waste from one source and actually converting it into a usable product. Particularly given that it is a food product, it becomes that much more important, that the science and the testing and the quality becomes important, and then it goes back to the soil in many ways. So thank you so much. Wonderful talking to you. Wonderful listening to your innovation. Please hold on if you can. If there might be other questions towards the end of the topic, I think some people would be interested in getting in touch with you. We will definitely share Pushpa's email ID with everyone, so that anybody who's interested to get in touch can do that after this conference is over. And with that, let me invite our second speaker, Shashank Nimkar. Shashank, actually, anybody if any of all of you who attended Manisha Seth's talk on the third day, 2 days ago, where she spoke about the one of the important campaigns that she ran in Pune, Mumbai, Pimpri Chinchwad, in many of these big municipal corporations, where at the end of the Ganesh festival, they were reclaiming the clay and then repurposing it. Some of it went back to the murtikars, but some of which could not go back would be used in other materials. And if you remember, when she was talking about who's working with her, she had actually even mentioned Shashank Nimkar. And it's wonderful to know that there are people already collaborating on things that are sort of peripheral to each other, or in the adjacent territory, if you will. And I'm glad that Shashank also agreed to speak with us. He's a master's. He has a bachelor's and a master's in industrial design. And interestingly, his product innovation came up during his master's study, if I'm right. Is that right, Shashank? And we will get to know how a problem that he saw has ended up into a solution that he has created, and what is and the a variety of products that are coming out of this. So over to you, Shashank. I think I certainly did not know the scale of the problem of ceramic waste, and I'm sure many of us might be quite shocked to see the numbers that you have spoken about. So over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. I'll just start sharing my screen.
Yes, please.
Yes. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, great. So, hi everyone. Happy to be here today. I'm Shashank Nimkar from Tatva. We are based in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, where we are working towards reducing mining of natural resources by up to 60% by recycling glazed-fired ceramic waste. So, while I was pursuing my master's in industrial design, we were visiting a ceramic manufacturing cluster in Khurja, which is in UP. And in every lane of the town, we could see such landfills of production rejects from the factories. And though I had seen this a lot of times on television, but this was my moment to realize that ceramics is something that doesn't biodegrade at all. Because I had seen a lot of documentaries where archaeology basically, where we excavate these ancient sites, and the first thing that we find is ceramics in various forms. And I thought, as designer, when I get into the industry, because I was specializing in ceramic and glass design, perhaps when I join the industry after convocation, I will be the one who is contributing to this landfill, because as we know, for every new season, we have to come up with new collections of products. And in that creation process, we would generate a lot of waste inevitably during the testing phase as well as the production phase. And it would then eventually end up here. So from every product, whether it's tableware, sanitary ware, our insulators, decoratives, we have this ocean of ceramics that is being landfilled since decades of production. So for this, after coming back from the industrial visit, 1 year after that, I thought I anyways had to pursue my graduation project, so why not start a self-initiated project rather than pursuing an internship? So that is how the project started in late 2018. And first, I started doing secondary research about how waste is being addressed around the world in general. And I was able to come across two very contradictory approaches, where in Norway, they were having the technology to recycle these cartons, milk cartons, which are multi-layered plastics in a way. Uh, but they didn't but they were not able to collect enough of those to be able to recycle and function it as a community or even as a country. So what they started doing was they observed that perhaps every household uses one carton every day. So they would have 7 cartons in a week. They said that you can squeeze 6 cartons and keep it in the seventh one, write your name and phone number, and give it to the nearest collection center in your town. And every week, someone would win a cash prize through a lottery on national television. So because of this incentivization, they were able to increase the collection rate from 35% to 68%. And in Zurich, it was completely opposite. While right now, as we see around us, every day the municipal corporation collects waste from households uh, door to door. They declared that they would not collect waste every day, they would collect it just once a week. And it also has to be submitted in this official Zuri sack, which was sold at 5 francs per bag, which is super expensive for a garbage bag. Because of this, the residents realized that they would have to stay put with all the waste that they generate. It might start shrinking, it might attract rodents, and a lot of other problems might arise because of that. And with this intervention, the residents reduced their waste generation by 40% in the first place. So this was also a big win for them and an important intervention. So this was my realization to understand that every approach works for any kind of innovation, but the point is we have to understand the context for which we are designing a solution. Then I started looking at how waste in the ceramic industry is being approached. And it was very fascinating to see a lot of different approaches addressed to this, because if we see any kind of conventional materials like metals, glass, or plastics, there perhaps could be a very core technology that is then implemented in a localized way in different parts of the world. But with ceramics, people were using it with cement, with glass as binder. So and they were making a lot of different kinds of products with different aesthetics. However, I still found that some of these processes were allowing only a particular kind of shapes to be formed. But I wanted something that is as universal as a fresh material. And you can't also have any kind of aesthetics with these. As you can see, they would have very peculiar aesthetics. So they would suit only a certain kind of products, not every kind of products. So that was my validation to understand that yes, there is some intervention that is still required in this field, which I would like to pursue through my graduation project. Then I started doing primary research in the ceramic production industries in Gujarat. Mainly the cluster manufactures sanitary ware products. Now with sanitary ware, what happens is even if we have one minor crack, the whole product, which is made out of 20 to 40 kgs, gets wasted. And it's not just about wasting of that material, but the high energy that is consumed in converting the raw materials into ceramics, because these products are fired at 1200 degrees Celsius, which consume a lot of fuel. Now, interestingly, before I reached this cluster, I was interacting with a couple of my mentors and seniors who had worked with this cluster earlier. And almost everyone told me that if you go to this town by road, maybe 10 years back, you would see all the production rejects being thrown on either side of the road 10 kilometers before you reach the town. And when I reached the town, I could see no waste anywhere around, and I got confused what was happening. So then I started inquiring with the stakeholders there, and I was told that the Pollution Control Board had started getting stricter a couple of years back. So now, no factory is allowed to throw any waste outside their premise. So what they have figured out is they send the waste to a particular factory that has a pulverizer with them, and because it's a private premise, no action can be taken against that action. Of landfilling, basically, it's a private landfill. And that's how you can't see any waste lying anywhere in the town on the roads. Also, when the cluster began maybe 50 to 60 years back, the production rejects were around 7 to 8%, and there were around 150 factories operating at a capacity of 10 tons per day. Today, we have around 250 factories operating at the same capacity, but the waste has reduced because of some technical interventions to 2 to 3%. So even if today we are lowering the waste generation, but we have 50 years of waste that is landfilled and it still exists. So that is what we were trying to address, that if we could use this waste to make new products, so we can conserve the fresh resources that we already have. Now we have three major types of waste in the ceramic industry. One is the glaze waste, which anyways can be reused, which is being done already in the industry. Then we have plaster of Paris molds, which are used to cast the products and with other processes. So plaster of Paris also has a limited lifespan for which it can be used, and then it loses its porosity, the absorption capacity of water. So it has to be discarded. And then we have the fired waste. I chose to work with the fired ceramic waste for now as a part of my project. And then we know that we should always reduce the consumption, reuse products as much as possible, upcycle them, and only recycle them when there's no other option left for us to pursue further. So I wanted to see what all is being done in the Indian market currently about these R's that we know of. Now, if we see plastics, we can always pulverize them and turn them into pellets and reuse them. We can melt metals, but we can't do any of these with ceramics. So we have to, plastics can be shredded, and that's why we have to pulverize the ceramics, because they are very abrasive material and it needs a very uh, hardened machinery to be used to crush them and make them reusable. Now, I was also exploring what do we really consider as a recycled product, because whenever we see around us, we have a lot of different kinds of recycled products, and at the core of them are two things. One is we have some kind of dry waste and we have a binder. We mix them together, we give it a shape, and it becomes a recycled product. However, as conscious makers, what we need to keep in mind is that what happens at the afterlife of these products, these recycled products, because we can't separate the binder and the dry waste at its end of life. So it will eventually go to landfill, and it might start leaching depending on what kind of binder is used. At the most, perhaps we can uh, shred it and use it as an aggregate for the next cycle of recycled product. But in this process, it doesn't really contribute in terms of its chemical properties. It is just an aggregate which could be any other material. So, for example, these days we are banning single-use plastic cups and moving towards paper cups. However, paper cups also have a thin lining of plastic to hold liquid in them. Now we have the technology to recycle paper and plastic, but we don't have a way to separate these uh, laminations from the paper cups. That's why these paper cups are rarely recycled and they eventually go to RDF, which is refuse derived fuel, where these cups are used as fuel for boilers, mostly in cement industries. So then, because I was in the ceramic department itself, I had access to all the materials and the equipments. So I realized that we could use clay itself as a natural binder to recycle ceramic waste, because clay after firing turns to ceramics. So technically, we are working with a mono material or a single material, and perhaps that would help us to keep recycling this recycled material further for multiple production cycles. So then we tested different manufacturing process of ceramics. We started with casting as well. Then there's a process called jigger and jolly. And as you can see, the initial tests were having a lot of cracks on the outer surface. And we were trying to use different kinds of natural clays, and that's why we see a lot of different colored poles. And during my secondary research, I also got to know about a project called Tableware, which was practiced or implemented in 1998 in Japan, where they realized and they have a very innate culture of using ceramics in everyday life. So they started collecting post-consumer waste and tried to recycle it in a collaboration of 7 to 9 industries. So they started using 20% of recycled content in their production. And by 2004 or 5, they were able to use around 50% of recycled content with very good aesthetic quality as well. So I thought, because this was already being achieved somewhere in the world, so this has to be a benchmark for this project, where we should be able to use at least 50% of recycled content. And then if we are able to use more of it, then that's even better. So the first prototypes they were actually made in terms of the functionality were made out of 70% recycled content. The top ones that you see are unglazed or exposed, and the bottom ones are glazed with white glossy color, glossy glaze basically. Now, till now, I had done all the research from the materials point of view, but had never really taken the consumer's point of view who would be using these products, and that was very tricky. Because in India, if you observe, whenever we go to any utensil shop, even today, most of the places don't recognize this as a material. Even if somebody is asking for a ceramic material, they would say ki kaanch ka bartan do. So I was very skeptical if the consumers would find this as a real problem. So that's why I just offered these products on display, very first prototypes in a maker's fair in Ahmedabad. And so there were a lot of interactions with avid ceramic users, and it was very validating that people who regularly use ceramics, they realize that this is a big problem, because while using these products, sometimes, most of the times, it breaks, and nobody accepts it. At least in the Indian market, they would accept paper, glass, metal, cardboard, but nobody would accept ceramic for recycling. All the kabadiwalas or the the waste recycling companies. And they would eventually will have to wrap it in newspaper and give it as a general waste, which they also realize goes to a landfill. So that was my first validation and interaction with the end consumers. So then we were able to test the material at a third-party lab, and we got to know that the material happens to be much stronger in terms of its compressive strength than the conventional ceramics. Now that is basically because we are also using those glaze particles in the recycled content, and with the glaze particles fusing with the other clay particles in the material, it just adds to the strength of it. And as mentioned earlier, because we are using 60% of recycled content, so basically I brought it down to 60% from the 70% of the prototype, just to optimize it for large scale production. Because we are using so much of recycled content, it directly correlates to so much of less mining of natural resources. And that is when I got to know about the concept of circular economy. And that is something that I was very glad about, that since the first day of this project, all the principles of circular economy were aligned with this project, which I had no idea about. So that was a very natural inclination that I had about the whole concept. And again, so what we are contributing towards is SDG 12, which is responsible consumption and production. And a lot of times it happens that, especially those who are working in the creative industry, are shy to share their accolades with others. But we can do it by being grounded, but also it's important to share all the achievements of whatever work has been done earlier. Because if people don't know that we exist or that innovation exists, so even if we make the most impactful innovation in the world, and if people don't know that it exists, they won't be able to use it. And if people don't use those innovations, then we can't create any impact. So I started reaching out to different publication houses to share this story, that this is something that I have been working upon, and this is the potential impact of this if it can be scaled up and implemented in a commercial entity. And the Better India was one of those organizations who reached out that they were interested in covering the story. And that became a very cornerstone for the journey of this project, because they have a very aligned audience, the readership, uh, whom we wanted to reach out to as well. And once the project was published, I received a lot of emails from different stakeholders around the world. So there were end users who wanted to use these products and were inquiring if we are launching them. There were distributors who were trying to see if we can collect their waste as well. There were brands who wanted to collaborate to launch some products made out of this material. So that became the first real world validation that this concept has a commercial validity and viability. So it can be taken ahead as a startup further. And over the years, then we have been featured by some of the most respected publications around the world. And this has also helped us to garner some credibility about our work, because so far we haven't really applied for a third-party certification that certifies that yes, we are using 60% recycled content. We thought, why are we supporting such low trust interactions in the society? Because we need third party certification, because unfortunately we don't trust each other whatever the brand is claiming. So what we are trying to do is that we are open to anyone who is in Ahmedabad to visit our studio, and we will show them our processes, and they can experience it for themselves. And that's how we are also communicating over through different media channels and social media as well, to build that trust rather than having a third-party certification that complies with all the requirements. And I'm also happy to share that we were featured as national winner for the prestigious James Dyson Award, and we were also felicitated by the Environment Minister of India. And it was also featured in Global Grad Show, which is a, an exhibition of 100 best graduation projects around the world of a particular academic year in Dubai. So, very fortunate to be a part of such cohort. And no project is ever possible without any kind of grants or funding. And how I approached is SSIP was the first stepping stone to get into this ecosystem, because that is designed for student innovations and projects. So while the project was going on, I had applied for SSIP at NIT itself, and I had received some funds. Based on those funds, we got the third-party testings of the material, as well as carried out a small pilot of manufacturing using this material composition. So that helped us to get the validation in terms of the optimization of process and the material. Based on this, we were able to apply for bigger grants from the state government as well as the central government and some other private entities as well. And that's how our journey has continued over the years. And so just to share a fun background of everything of the journey, these screenshots are from just 2 years of all the places where we had applied for, whether it's for grants or competitions or awards or any kind of collaborations. And the highlighted places are the only places where we got selected. So it has been such a rigorous exercise of reaching out to potential collaborators or different stakeholders. And of course, we don't always get a positive response, but there are a lot of different reasons for it. It's not just because maybe we are not at that point, but the point is sometimes the organization or the event is looking for an innovation that is in some other domain, even if it's within sustainability. And that's where our innovation may not align with them. That's why we not get a green flag. But it's always important to reach out to them so that at least they know that this is what we are working on. Maybe not for the event, but in person, anybody can get in touch with us for some other projects that we can work on together. And so we have now developed a material composition which reduces mining. We have made finished products from it. We started with tableware because tableware is something that is very personal to all of us. Everybody perhaps has a very favorite mug in which they have their beverage. So, and when we host any kind of guests at our home, we always take out the best cutlery that we have, and we always like to talk about it, that why did we buy it from, and that's why I started with tableware, because these products can act as talk triggers during social gatherings and increase the conversations around conscious consumption. Now, once we have made these products, we also have to deliver these products safely across the country through e-commerce orders that we would receive. So now we have also developed a packaging that is completely plastic free and modular and shipping friendly. So that ways we are able to venture into another aspect of ceramics as well, where we are trying to keep the finished products safe and eliminate the generation of waste through a plastic free packaging. And these are some of the early prototypes that we had made through different manufacturing processes. And it has been validated that almost all the manufacturing processes are possible with our material. So the material has a trade name called Tatva Mix. And we also, a few years back, collaborated with 50 ceramic artists across India, and they created different products in their own style because we also wanted to see what all limits can this material take. So we just asked them to create whatever they were happy with making and what their uh, uh, representative process was. And I think from almost everyone, we got a very positive response. And today we have artists almost in every state who are using our material to make their creations without changing any processes at their end. So the idea is that when more of us start using this material to create our own creations, we can collectively reduce the consumption of resources rather than we as a organization creating our own finished products at a very limited scale. Mm. I think this came to me from my background in animation from my undergrad, where we see a lot of uh, credits of all the people at the end of any kind of film that we see. So I kept noting down every individual's name who helped me during the project, and this is how the list kept growing from. I think it was around 125 people during that 6 months of projects, 8 months of projects. Now, of course, it has become much longer. Uh, For me, the major learning has been that a lot of times we like to be a center part of some circle, whether it's our friend circle or hobby circle or anything at all. That is good. But if we are even a tangential part of a lot of different circles that interest us, that will really increase our network and our understanding about a lot of different topics. So that has been my biggest learning through this journey. Because earlier I was quite an introvert, but because of this project, I had to speak to so many people and professionals from various domains, and that really has helped me to be a part of a bigger community. And these are the two quotes that have kept guiding me over the years. And I think perhaps these would help everyone who comes across them as well. These are our coordinates. Please feel free to keep in touch with us online. And of course, whenever any of you are in Ahmedabad, please do visit us. That's all. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing, fantastic. I mean, I think the best thing that not the many very interesting things. The thing that I really liked is what he said. If you're doing a good thing, then go and talk about it. People need to know, and I think this is essentially comes back the awareness bit, creating this awareness bit of the problem, the scale and size of the problem, and the solutions that have come out. I think it is very crucial that awareness is built through these mechanisms. And if you, I don't know if you were there, but those who are, attended the first talk on the bioeconomy, and what were some of the challenges? I think one of the biggest challenges that was mentioned was lack of awareness. And I think what you talked about is something that's really good to to make sure that your messages goes out and so on. So very, very wonderful to hear that. Shashank, thank you so much. Let's open up for a few questions before we move to the third speaker today.
Chaitanya, I would like to.
Yes, please. Yes, Dr. Raghu.
More than asking a question, just to comment. We are also running a pottery unit in Trivandrum. One of the main problem is, in the pottery, those fired ceramic waste, it is very difficult to reuse, especially once it is fired, then can be used for landfill. You have mentioned in your case, this is a very good technology, but the problem of economic viability, I'm a little doubtful about the economic viability of the whole project, because we have a lot of fired ceramic waste available and it can be recycled. And you mentioned that the natural binder, you are using clay as the natural binder. So when you use the clay as a natural binder, this ceramic waste also made in the form of a powder type of thing with some grinding mills and all. So that itself is a very difficult job, and also it's more expensive. It can be made in product, but I'm a little concerned about the economic viability of that. Otherwise, it's a good innovation which you are put forward for others. I really appreciate the presentation as well as the innovation. Thank you, Shashank.
Yes, thank you. So we have got the LCA done, life cycle assessment, for this through Adelphi in Germany, and there it happens to disclose that with this process we are able to save around 22.4% carbon emissions as compared to the conventional ceramics. And with this also, if we are able to implement this at the same scale as the industry, maybe around 5 to 10 tons of production per day, we did a calculation where we are able to save around 25 to 50% of the cost at the raw material level itself. Further, we are able to save at the firing expenses. And because the products made out of this material are stronger, there would be less breakage during the transit and the use phase as well. So at different stages, there are different cost savings. But of course, because this is not implemented at the industrial scale right now, so the cost would of course vary. But right now as well, the finished products that are offered in the market are at par with the branded products that are available. And that can come down as the production scale increases.
Thank you.
The question, another, it's about B2B and hospitality industry, where branded products, and not just branded, but even what shall we say, eco-friendly products are now starting to become people look for that. What are the barriers, if at all, have you encountered? Unless maybe, so if you could share something about that.
Mhm. So one thing is that because there's so many options available right now, and they have to be sure not everybody in the team perhaps who is sourcing would be uh, having such technical knowledge. So that's why first the barrier is that we need to get certifications. Only then they would be sure that yes, this is what they are saying, it's not greenwashing. And then second is that what is our source of secondary raw materials. If it's post-consumer, then the whole logistics cycle becomes expensive. If it's post-industrial, then perhaps it is relatively cheaper than post-consumer because we are at least getting it from a single source of industries. And then the aesthetics and quality as well, because aesthetics becomes very subjective. If it's handmade, whether it's soaps or any kind of other products, the the client has to have that alignment with what could be the handmade aesthetics or the recycled content aesthetics. If that works out, then it is easy. Otherwise, it is always a big barrier to cross.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think we've seen two speakers talk about two very crucial uh, topics here about the lack of availability of uh, large scale industrial recycling facilities for bioplastics, which led to working on the compostable alternatives that Pushpa talked about, and then the huge amount of waste that is generated as part and parcel of the ceramic industry, and then the opportunity to reclaim some of that waste and bring it back into circulation. I think, and with good results too, in terms of that, that seems to be a very good opportunity for growth in that space. So thank you so much, Shashank. I think there will be some more conversations, people interested to know more about how to engage better and all that. But with that, let me invite our third speaker and the last speaker of our conference, Shubham Tibrewal. He's actually taking this. I mean, initially we were supposed to get Ved Krishna, who's the CEO of Pakka, but because Ved is currently traveling in South America, Shubham kindly agreed to talk to us about what they have been doing, and the contrast between what it's an interesting contrast that we are going to hear about. The first two products, the first product certainly is tried, tested. Now it is looking to enter into the market. The second one is almost there. It's going. It has gone through far more trials and tests and so on and so forth, and it's getting to ready to really scale up. Now we are actually going to look at a company that has actually taken agro waste and truly scaled it up into a really multinational operation. So we want to understand what happens, what has gone behind this kind of scaling. How did they manage this? Again, a company that makes packaging for food products, so which means that there has to be a degree of quality, science, testing, etc. So Shubham, really keen to understand the products that you have built, what went into doing that, and what got you to move from what your earlier offerings were into something which is far more sustainable, regenerative, and so on. Over to you.
Thank you, Chaitanya. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Good evening, everyone. I'm Shubham Tibrewal. I am the business head at Pakka for all our compostable businesses. So before I talk about the specific business I lead, I would just want to give a brief introduction into Pakka. Sorry, in general, I don't have a presentation. I was hoping to keep this talk a lot more interactive. So
That's fine.
please feel free to ask questions, and like that'll be a much better conversation. That way I can adapt it more to what you would like to know. But yeah, in general, Pakka we established in 1983 in Ayodhya. And as a company, actually, funnily, we've always been regenerative, circular economy, because our first product, our raw material is sugarcane bagasse. So it is an agro waste. And we are traditionally a paper mill. So we buy bagasse from sugar mills around us. All our sourcing is done within a 100-kilometer radius from where our factory is. So, of course, the factory is strategically placed in a sugar belt. So we have access to ample raw material, the primary raw material that we need, very, very easily. So yeah, we started in 1983 with, of course, one machine. Then we added a second one a couple of years later, and a third one a few more years later. And currently we produce around 200 metric tons of paper, craft paper, every day. Again, 100%
Wow, that's a
bagasse.
huge number.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
we're a 43-year-old company, so we've
yeah,
had
yeah.
some time to
Some
scale.
history and yeah, obviously yes, but
We had the
it's just a
time.
good number.
Yes, we've had time to scale, right? That's
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we are also coming up with a new plant, a new machine actually, which will double our capacity from the 200 tons a day currently to 400 tons a day. So this is on the paper front. The exact products that we make with paper is two products. So one is wrap. So we are, as a company, our goal is food packaging, right? So everything we do is to do with food, and the paper products specifically go into categories. What we call wrap, and the other is what we call carry. So food wrap, how you wrap a burger, how you wrap a roll, how you basically wrap any food product in those typical papers you may have seen. And the other is carry. So the carry bags that are being used. So that is how we define our paper segments. Our second business is compostable tableware. So again, this is made from sugarcane bagasse as the principal raw material. And here we make only unbleached products, and we are catering to quite a few restaurants, QSRs, delivery chains, corporate caterers. Very recently to the IRCTC. Not sure if someone read that in the press, but we just signed with Northeastern Railways. So we will be supplying our products to the railways as well through IRCTC. And our last division, the newest one, is flexible packaging. So here what we are trying to do is replace the multi-layer pouches. So what you have for, say, a chocolate packaging or energy bar or a bag of chips. So that multi-layer substrate is what we are trying to replace with a paper-based substrate, which will be home compostable. So that's roughly the company and the business that we are in. More specifically about the business that I manage, which is under the brand Chuck, which is our tableware division. Like, so we call it food services. Idea is to give a 360-degree solution, one-stop shop solution to all food companies, right? So that includes basically your restaurants, your QSRs, your cloud kitchens, dark kitchens, hotels, institutional caterers. Here, basically, the thesis was, as a company, our fundamental value is to leave a cleaner planet, right? And we were trying to see what is contributing to pollution. And packaging waste is actually the one of the biggest contributors to pollution in the world. And that is where we started. And for us, of course, the logical choice was to use sugarcane because it's what we know, it's what we have very good access to. We're also a fully integrated plant. So we have our own pulp mill. So we process the sugarcane bagasse into a pulp by ourselves. We generate our own power as well. So we are almost entirely off the grid. And for us, this was, and actually making tableware is
And
not
the
very
power also comes from this waste itself,
agri-waste.
or
Yes, yes.
okay,
Our power
so you're
comes from
using agro-waste for power
yes, we
generation too.
absolutely we use a combination of husk and bagasse, but the fine particles of bagasse, right? The ones which have very short fiber, so what you can't actually mold into paper or tableware, the chura, right? The powder is
Mm,
what
mm.
we are using to generate our power as well. Absolutely. So we are a fully integrated plant, and we are one of the few people in the world to actually do it. A lot of people have set up tableware plants, but then they're buying the pulp from outside. They're on grid electricity, wherein we are fully integrated, and we're using, of course, virgin pulp. So food safe is very important, right?
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, so that's so for us, the problem that we were trying to solve was food packaging waste. Our dream is to replace well, our dream is to not replace anything, but our dream is that you should have packaging which can be disposed with food, right? So everything goes in one bin, the same bin in which you will throw the food or the food waste, you should be able to throw the packaging waste. And
And the
both,
packaging also should get composed or whatever,
exactly,
decomposed along with the food itself. So there's no need
absolutely.
to separate the
There is no
food waste from
segregation.
the, yeah, yeah,
Exactly. That's
okay.
that's what we are. That's what we have achieved, right? So all our products are home compostable, not industrial compostable. They're home compostable.
Mm.
So that is exactly the problem we are trying to solve, and that is exactly the solution we work towards. So that is our criteria. Everything should be home compostable, everything in one single bin.
Wonderful. I mean, this is really strengthening even what Pushpalakshmi was talking. I think I don't know if
Yeah,
you
I was
got to
unable
listen to.
to.
You might have listened to her a little bit, but I mean, I think it's really wonderful to hear the word home compostable on products. I mean, normally we don't even. I mean, we have not even heard that term as often, but probably this is the first time I'm hearing it said almost 20 times in this session. So in these 1.5 hours, so wonderful
Very
to hear
important
that.
because we talk often of industrially compostable products, but in India we don't have industrial compostable capabilities. So it's great
Very
to
true. Very true.
make that, but you are not going to. It's not effective yet, right? That solution is not effective, unfortunately, today.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
the and why we chose to do this is because as we are developing as a country, as an economy, our food packaging waste will only increase. The direction
It
in which
will.
we are
It will.
going, the way the Zomatos of the world are growing, that just means that we are multiplying at that same speed waste as well. So for us, this is a challenge that had to be solved. It's a problem which had to be solved, and we're very grateful. And of course, there are now we have so many friends who are in the same space as we are. So it's great that we are able to together solve this problem because it's a big challenge, and it
Yeah.
definitely needs to be addressed. So
So, Shubham, couple of questions. One is there's a question from Rita ji asking, what about the waste of the from the rather papers that you produce, the 200 million metric tons of is that also compostable? Is that also something that what
yes,
is the life cycle of that kind of product?
it is home compostable as well. It's just paper, right? So we are manufacturing pure paper. Paper is basically it's just sugarcane bagasse which we are drying, right? And of course we add some we do some chemistry to it to make it a bit water resistant, to make it a bit oil resistant, to give it maybe some strength properties. But globally it is just bagasse, right? So yes, it remains compostable.
Hmm. And you talked about the particularly since COVID happened after COVID, the food delivery, the 10-minute delivery things have just exploded literally.
Absolutely.
And they are contributing massively to waste. I mean, anything you order on Swiggy comes in a plastic, a plastic food carrying packets or whatever, the utensils, plastic utensils and all that. So are these also likely to be alternatives to such plastic, the products that
Yes,
all you are making?
that's a great remark, Chaitanya, because we've managed to replace quite well the dine-in products, the tableware, right? So plates, bowls, these have been globally replaced because in India there is a ban, of course, on single-use plastic. So there are and there are solutions available. Delivery is a different challenge,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also the law does not apply to delivery because delivery is technically not single-use because you are
Okay.
able to well, you can eat out of that container, and then if you've not finished your food, you can put it back in the fridge, take it out again. So it could be repurposed, right? And to
Mm.
be very honest, there is not a viable solution in the compostable space. So it's actually one thing that we are working on, and actually very soon you will see a solution from us in the market, which will tackle the delivery problem. Because just to for context, right? Indian food is very specific. It's very hot.
Yeah,
It's very oily,
yeah.
uh, and it's served very hot, and that creates a bunch of challenges. And then, of course, the last mile delivery in India on a bike with your food jumping, you need to have something which basically seals very well, right? And also something which does not get soggy, because
Yep.
bagasse intrinsically has a tendency to absorb,
Absorb the
right?
moisture and
It'll
yeah,
absorb
absolutely.
the
Very true.
moisture,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It'll
yeah.
absorb your gravy. If it'll absorb the liquids, right? It will become soggy, which will cause it to
Even the
lose salt.
oil that may be there, even the oil gets
Exactly,
absorbed. Very true. Yeah.
exactly. So that it will absorb that, and also when you will shut it, the steam will remain entrapped
Correct.
into the product, which
Correct.
will increase the sogginess. And our food is also very oily. So you even if when you get food in plastic, right, you will see it's taped multiple
Mm.
times.
Very
Because
true. Very
sometimes
true.
even plastic lids, which are actually quite really good, but even sometimes they don't suffice. They need to tape it. So this is a
Correct.
very big challenge, and it is actually the one we are focusing on right now. And we hope that in January we are able to bring the solution. So we are very, very close. We have actually, it's in production right now. So we think
Wonderful.
we've
I think
solved.
hopefully that will pass all tests, consumer tests
Absolutely.
of all, and
Well, the consumer tests are passed, and we the value proposition is very strong. The solution we have created eliminates, well, plastic in all forms, and also eliminates the need for the taping. So it does a few things. It increases operational efficiency. So here's the thing, right? Like when you're solving a problem, when you're bringing a new solution to the market, you cannot just think of the input. So you can't just think that I'm trying to replace plastic with a compostable product. You have to think of the life cycle of the product, right? And you have to see how you add value, because uh, whatever solution you bring to the market is going to be more expensive than plastic, right?
yeah,
And
I think that's the biggest, one of the biggest problems actually.
it is, and you have to add value then, right? You have to be able to, and you have to add value and able to communicate that value to your customer and to the end customer. So we have to create awareness for the solution, for the existing of the solution. So you want the end consumer to demand restaurants that I don't want to eat in plastic, right? I want, there are compostable, safe solutions which exist, and you can opt for those. So you may have seen platforms like aggregator platforms are encouraging brands as well. So now there is a tag for less plastic packaging.
Mm,
It's also allowed companies to add packaging charges separately to your order.
very true.
So
Very
then
true.
this allows companies to opt for a more sustainable, or which is then also maybe a bit more expensive form of packaging, because then they're able to pass on that cost to the consumer.
Very
And they're
true.
also
Very
giving
true.
them organic visibility. So it's also encouraging restaurants and brands to opt for solutions like that. So we're also hoping to work with them to push this offer and the solution more aggressively into the market.
Yeah, yeah. And I think one thing which is definitely true is that you go to most homes today in big cities and you'll find, if not already disposed, you'll find so many of these black no,
Yeah,
plastic utensils from Swiggy, Zomatos, and restaurants, that it's
absolutely
becoming a nuisance now, and people are starting to see it is also getting to become a nuisance to handle, and so on. So I think if you flipped from nothing or very little to something too many, too much of this waste, and I think slowly but surely. Things like microplastics, things like
correct.
the dangers of cooking in plastic or even heating or reheating or whatever, right or wrong, but there is slowly but steadily fear and settling into people's
Absolutely,
mind to look for alternatives. And
absolutely.
the
I mean,
second thing is that most people who order can afford alternatives too,
correct.
because we are not ordering 10 rupee things, we are ordering a lot more expensive food anyway.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, you're right. And I mean, it's what we are, it's again another core value of ours, right? So one thing is the waste, but also it's the microplastics you were talking about, which is really harmful for human health. Um, there are some studies which have shown that an adult in a year on average consumes microplastics equivalent to a credit card.
oh my
That's
God.
it's not might not be the case in India, because in India we don't consume packaged foods as much. We are still a country where we eat at home and our food is home cooked. But in more developed countries where people are eating out more, living individually, ordering more, eating more packaged foods, that's kind of the statistic, right? So, but the products we make are so great for the planet, great for humans, but also great for marine and terrestrial animals,
Mm,
because they
mm.
are also the ones who are suffering from this waste and the toxins then that get released from this waste into their ecosystem. So they are collateral damage to our actions, right? So there is also that. So our products are safe for all of us, right? So for the planet, for us, for the animals, for the marine ecosystem.
Very true. Thank you so much. I think, Shubham, this it was an impromptu conversation, literally, but I think you really brought out two or three very important things. One is that environmentally, I won't say environmentally safe, but environmentally good products can actually be manufactured at scale. That
Absolutely.
it is possible to in fact, we had several entrepreneurs in this. I think at least 5 entrepreneurs who have come up with solutions to the problems of today, and at least one of them from Jalgaon, a rural entrepreneur from Jalgaon said, if the Ambanis could make it, why can't I? And I think the aspiration to be big, the aspiration to do the right thing, to aspiration to make it acceptable, valuable, and useful to society at large, I think that is something that is standing out. So thank you so much, and I'm very happy that we have been able to listen to all of you. So with that, I think we'll come to the closing few seconds, but. Yeah, I think Ritaji is asking, are you a second, third generation entrepreneur? Just curious, out of curiosity. I think you said that it was a 43-year-old company, so it's been
So,
been in a while. Yeah,
correct. It's been a while.
yeah,
We can
yeah.
call me a third generation almost.
Okay. Yeah.
But I take
So
credit for nothing. I'm just I'm just enjoying the journey which was laid out for me. I
yeah, I
I'm
think
trying to
this
do
is
justice to the challenge.
it's like a relay race, right? I mean, one generation hands it over to the next, and 40 years ago, probably the problems that you are tackling today didn't exist. So it's a matter also of continuous innovation, continuously looking at the problems that have been created and how to solve them and how to keep this going over time. So fantastic. So, I think with that, let us, start winding down this 5-day conference. I think it's not really a typical conference, but it's been a wonderful opportunity to know the work that has been happening in this space. We started with, getting a bird's eye view, went down on the ground to see who's doing what, went up and down, so scaled the entire the distance from a worm's eye view to a bird's eye view sort of thing, and also explored entrepreneurship, green skilling, entrepreneurship early stage, as well as well established, highly industrialized, highly multinational organizations like Pakka and Chuck, hopefully, and the new products that are coming online. I think it has been personally for me and for many of us, an eye-opening sort of a series of talks from everyone. So thank you so much. And with that, maybe I would like to invite some of my trustees who are on the call here, and some of our advisors, if they would like to give some closing comments before we wrap up this series of talks. Narendra ji, or who else is there? Rita Sen Gupta is there, Shama Didi is there, Dr. Prabhu is here. Anybody would like to just share a few words? It will be very nice. Mr. Ashok Kalbag is also here. Anybody, please take over, and we would love to hear you as well. And once again, thanks a lot, Shubham. Thanks for jumping in at literally the last minute, because Ved had to reschedule his travel plans, and thank you for chipping in and coming in his place.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Yes, Dr. Prabhu. You're on the mute, so would you like to unmute, please? Dr. Prabhu, I think you're on mute.
All right. Just an amazing journey. It's really gratifying to see what has happened in the last 5 days. It's really just recalling it started as an idea in 2007, 2008, and of course, it was launched in 2009 to create this platform and a catalyst for networking and knowledge dissemination. That's what STAR says. And for each one, networking has its own implications. It's a very wide field. And so is knowledge dissemination. And this is an example in action, what we saw in the last 5 days. And where we have come in this journey in 15 years has been very gratifying. And this is grown because of participation from other NGOs, from affiliates. Affiliates is only just being part of the network. That's all it is. And we would like to keep growing to really bring solutions, practical solutions at the ground level. really we can talk theory, we can talk in the big thing, but ultimately what the impact is on the ground is really what we need to focus on. And we really need everybody's participation. So just I want to think this is a wonderful thing. We would like to keep doing. We would like STARS to be more effective along with, and we need your help. And we need to learn from you what the needs are and how we can be more effective in our catalyst and our knowledge dissemination role, our objective. But I want to just thank the speakers. They have been wonderful. I learned a lot. I mean, this was a new subject matter to us, and their time, effort, energy. I would like to thank everyone for attending, and we want to thank Chaitanya and Bhakti for putting this together. It was a wonderful effort, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Prabhu. Narendra, would you like to speak a few things if you are able to? Or Rita ji? Yeah, Narendra, go ahead. Good to see you. I think you're frozen. Maybe you can.
Especially the people who are doing incredible work, and we really feel humble in the sense that one it is we are just getting it on this platform because of STARS. And so I would personally like to thank all the speakers, esteemed speaker, for all 5 days. And this time I also kind of mobilized our teams, few team leaders to because this is going to be, I think, the emerging issue in terms of beyond just GDP or the economies. This is a kind of the issue which I think the globally has to be addressed. So I think this again, I think one of Chaitanya ji, you said that, rightly said, this is just a beginning, kind of, to explore this domain, and there is a lot more to do in this. And so I think this is a kind of paving the path again to make it happen towards. So we wish all the best to all of us who are part with this and who are blessed to witness this opportunity. There's a lot more to do. And that I would like to conclude with one of our masters used to say that knowing is not doing, doing is doing. So we need more doer in the space. One knowing is definitely the doer, knowing from the doers and then taking for doing. I think that's going to make a difference. So thank you very much, and thank you Chaitanya ji for continuously keeping us on all 5 days. And at a lighter note, it was, I think, what Yogesh ji said in the beginning, that you being a visionary, that indigo things happened, but definitely I think this is again blessing in disguise kind of. Thank you.
I don't know whether it was vision or blind spot, but जो हुआ सो अच्छा ही हुआ.
Very true, yes.
Okay, with that I think let's call it a day, so to speak. Thank you once again everyone who has joined us for these last 5 days. We will be processing all the videos. We will share. We will create a report out of these, bringing out some of the key points, and hopefully, and not hopefully, actually, I think there is a lot of interest in taking some of these things forward, so that not that we should just have these talks and be and then go back to doing whatever we're doing, but see how we can proceed working forward together as a group on different aspects related to the circularity and the bioeconomy. And basically we are talking about environment. We are all aware of the need to work. Like one thing, Narendra keeps talking about the need to associate what we are doing with the vision of a Viksit Bharat. And I think the only way that I can think of is, without a Swasth Bharat, you can't have a Viksit Bharat. And the health will come through initiatives like this. Yes, Narendra ji.
So I just at the last this thing that I don't know whether we had a click of the participants or just one click, maybe.
Exactly. That's why
Or
I opened up
we're
my
starting on the
camera.
video. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
I
all
will
of us can
request.
come on.
Yeah. Can I
On the
request
video.
everyone to switch on their cameras so that I can take a picture? Rita ji.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and take care. Have a good night, everyone.
I just want to say sorry,
Yes,
I'm
please.
coming in the last
Please,
minute.
please. Yes, please.
I think what is the most interesting thing happened here, everybody talked about their social responsibility. So one of the entrepreneurial quality is also to have a social responsibility, and the ideas and the presentation also highlighted that. So congratulations to the speakers and to Stars Forum as well. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you in
See
person
you,
next
Dr.
year.
Raghu. Yeah, good to see you, Dr. Raghu. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you, Chaitanya ji. We'll be in touch.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
we will. Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, bye everyone. Bye.